Okay, on this windy, rainy, cold day, something is prompting me to share with you the rights that have been violated, your rights that have been violated, my rights that have been violated each time that I request a hearing on the shit talk that's been said and spread about me. I get denied that right, and it's all by police and politicians. So I'm going to share this information with you. Seems how you people don't seemingly know how to find it. I'm going to help you. Your human rights violations encompass a wide range of abuses, and they go from severe crimes like genocide and torture to more subtle forms of discrimination and denial of fundamental freedoms. These violations can occur in various contexts, including during armed conflicts, like when the police arrest you by gun and other force, including being handcuffed, okay? Um, that's an armed conflict within state institutions and by private actors. There's genocide and ethnic cleansing, which is the deliberate killing of a large group of people. That's like, when you're in jail and the cell gets blocked off and they consider it COVID. I'm going to give you an example, like October of 2023, Somerset County Jail in Madison, Maine. A group of people were blocked off and claimed to have had a COVID outbreak, but nobody wants to talk about that. So then it goes to that's based on ethnicity and religion and beliefs, really, and those people were probably severely seeking justice. Like torture and cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment, that's acts that inflict physical or mental suffering. Right from the get go, when people start talking shit about you and file false reports, as an example, and the cops start looking at you like you've done something wrong and they don't properly investigate before they arrest, that inflicts a lot of physical and mental suffering. Extrajudicial killings, the unlawful killing of individuals without a proper trial. Well, that just happened to a guy, Cal Sawyer. Sorry, but it's the truth. Without a doubt, I believe, without a fucking doubt, because he was held, he wasn't even properly charged. He wasn't even charged, and he hadn't even hit trial. He got uh, contracted sepsis, I believe, is what they say, and he passed away. Yeah, that's not cool. Forced disappearances, the abduction and clandestine detention of individuals, often followed by the disappearance. Okay, for example, I have a family member that was missing, and it was reported and it was hidden. And then when she was located, transferred from one location to another location, they would lock her up in a jail. They'd lock her up in psychiatric wards. They were overfeeding her medications, and she'd end up in hospitals. And it was a vicious cycle that happened just last year again. Arbitrary arrest and detention, the unlawful arrest and detention of individuals without proper legal grounds. That would fall under the category of USC 242/1983, violation of due process. That's a federal offense, people. So if you're listening to me, pay attention, because I file lawsuits. Denial of basic rights, the withholding of access to fundamental rights like food, water, healthcare, and education. That's what happens in the jails, like Brentwood Jail in Rockingham County, New Hampshire. That's what they did to me during totality, the day before totality, and then they detained me after I was released from jail. And by the way, those charges were dismissed before it hit the courtroom. So that's malicious prosecution and violations of my rights, human rights, civil rights, disability rights, discrimination, violation of my constitutional rights, and more. So that's where that lawsuit comes in against Rockingham County, New Hampshire, the Attorney General, Brentwood Jail, and everybody involved. Discrimination, treating individuals unfairly or unequally based on factors like race, religion, gender, or sexual orientation. Uh, Violations of freedoms of expression, association, and religion. Yeah, they don't like me. They claimed every reason to not like me, claiming that it was because of my religion. And, well, I'm just slowly finding out, but I already knew. It's just that the proof is coming out. What they did to me, why they did it, and who's involved. Child labor and recruitment of child soldiers, using child in work or combat, sexual and gender based violence, rape, sexual assault, and other forms of violence based on sex or gender. Well, being a female, you get raped quite often, and they don't do anything about it. It just slips off the radar. So that's a denial of your due process, which is a failure to provide a fair and impartial legal process. And that because of erosion of democratic institutions, weakening or undermining democratic processes and institutions. They don't listen to you. They throw the complaints right out the door because most of the time they're involved. Consequences of human rights and violations, devastating impacts on populations, long term trauma, societal disruption, and widespread suffering. Yeah, devastating impacts on populations. That means when you're completely harassed and terrorized, gang stalked, a targeted individual, that's what they do. They traumatize you, they dramatize you, they lie about you, they disrupt your life in many and all ways. And it creates a lot of suffering in all ways. Perpetuation of violence and conflict. Human rights violations can escalate conflicts and create cycles of violence. Yes. And that's what happens when you bring forward what the police and politicians do against you. They get very violent. It's a fact, people. Look it up. Hindrance of development. Human rights abuses can undermine economic and social development. That means when you get taken from, say, you're in school and you're in the high honor roll status or honor roll status, and they take you out and put you in a IEP program. Yeah, it's hard to overcome that because that's when they start doing all kinds of experimental bullshit like taking you to a counselor and exposing your family wrongfully, making you lie or making up lies, saying that you said shit that you really didn't. And then they put you on medication and then they take you away from your parents. And, well, just ask the children that grew up in DCF care. Okay, so erosion of trust in government and institutions is what that leads to. Human rights violations can damage public trust and undermine the legitimacy of state institutions. So, with that being said, abolish the government would be the biggest and greatest thing that you could start doing. Petitioning to abolish the government, which is disassemble DHS, DCF, and all these criminals that get involved with DCF and DHS to destroy your family, such as states' attorneys, judges, and the attorneys' guardian litems and all that bullshit. And so, international human rights law, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and other international treaties establish a framework for protecting your human rights. Bet you didn't know about that, but you need to look it up. Non governmental organizations work to monitor and report on human rights violations and advocate for reform. Look it up, people. Um, so, yeah, that's a good beginning. What are the top 5 common human right violations? You want to hear about that? Systematic racial or ethnic violation or discrimination. Sorry, I didn't ask you and expect you to answer because I'm going to read it anyway, so your answer really doesn't matter. Indigenous people, such as my family, uh, anti Semitism, organ harvesting. So, yeah, they'd like to organ harvest us because they know our DNA. Acts of violence, criminalization, and other abuses based on sexual orientation, gender identity or expression, or sex characteristics. Other societal violence or discrimination. Okay. And the ones that are being violated today in the United States would be the asylum seekers and the threats to the LGBT rights and restrictions on voting rights, abuses of targeting or falling heaviest on communities. Well, how about the denial of the rights to the women and the children? How about let's talk about that? International. Sometimes police kill or seriously injure people during arrests. In countless other cases, police officers are quick to use unlawful force, excessive surveillance, and arbitrary arrests and detention to suppress peaceful protests. 3 examples of police misconduct are false arrest from illegal search and seizures. One of the most common ways police abuse their power is through false arrest, excessive or unreasonable force, and misuse of position of power. That, again, is called abuse of power. And so, with that being said, I'll conclude this and just let you know those are some of the reasons and claims that I have filed against the police for what they're doing and have done to my family. Thank you.